Hi, Dr. Stephen here, of course, and I'm in my backyard. It's a beautiful summer evening here in Colorado. The weather is lovely, the humidity is low, which we like, and our flowers are blooming, and it's just lovely out here. I wanted to take a minute and thank all of you for your kindness and your grace, and apologize a bit because I know that I've let a few little things slip through the cracks with regard to this class and some of the places to upload papers and those sorts of things. And this isn't really an excuse, but I do want to just share with you from my heart what's been going on the last month in my life, my wife and my life. The beginning of June, we went to California. Actually, we went to California to conduct my mother's graveside funeral service. She actually died a year ago. She was 93, she had dementia, but because of the severe lockdown with COVID in Southern California, we were unable to gather for a funeral until just last month. So we went out there to do that. Along with that, I actually preached both morning services at a very large mega church in the Los Angeles area where we started out in ministry. And they'd asked me to come and preach on a message that's very, very personal message to me, something that happened in our life 3 years ago. I'm going to put the link if you want to watch it. You're welcome to. Of course, you don't have to, but it'll let you know a little bit more about me and my life recently. And so we did that, and we came back to Colorado, and then before we knew it, several other things happened. One was the following Sunday, I spoke at a memorial service up in Denver for the pastor of the big church in Denver who hired me from the church in Los Angeles. He was my boss in Denver many years ago and the one who sent me down to Colorado Springs to first plant a church. He passed away several months ago, but again, because of COVID, we finally gathered on that Sunday to have a wonderful celebration of his life, and I spoke there, but it was still tough. And then in the last week, two things happened. One is some very dear friends of mine, an African couple, Pastor Dafa and his wife Lillian, Dafa has traveled with me so many times, dozens of times in the last 20 years, all throughout Africa. We call each other twin brothers by different mothers. One of my closest friends. They've been in our home in Colorado. We've been in their home in Arusha, Tanzania. And they became very ill very quickly, went to the hospital. It appeared to be COVID, and Tanzania is not at all equipped for COVID. And this last week, in the matter of 48 hours, she died, and then he died after her 48 hours later. It was devastating to us in our ministry. It really was. It just was I called it a sucker punch to lose Dafa and Lillian, and it really affected us. And then the same week, a dear friend of mine here in Colorado Springs, another guy in ministry, his wife died after a very sudden and short bout with cancer, and her funeral was this last Friday, and I went to that funeral as well. So it has just been a really strange season for me, something I've not really seen in, I don't know, at any time in my life in such a short period of time. And consequently, it kind of threw me off kilter just a little bit. And so my apologies for some of the little things that aren't quite set up yet for the class. We'll get there. You guys are all doing great. You're going to do great. Everybody's going to pass with flying colors. Don't worry about that. So this week, we have a really interesting interview by a gentleman, Dr. Tim Keller, former pastor in New York City, and now he is an author and speaker, who himself is actually fighting a very intense battle with pancreatic cancer. And some of his recent blogs have been so inspiring and yet so challenging and heart-wrenching as well. But Tim Keller talks about culture and the way that we Christians so often have reacted in a very unhelpful way. And I think you'll really appreciate and enjoy this interview. And one of the questions deals with that interview. So I look forward to seeing you guys in the discussion thread, and we'll sort all the papers and all those things out. Don't worry about it. There's going to be lots of grace. So God bless you guys. I'll see you in the discussion threads.